A lot of this video is about issues at the FDIC. A lot of sexual harassment has happened at the FDIC.
The county of Louisiana is recognized.
I hope Senator Al Franken is watching today. If it weren't for double standards around this place, there wouldn't be any standards at all. Mr. Gruenberg, have you ever heard the expression, a fish rots from the head down?
Yes, Senator.
I understand I listened carefully to your testimony. Do I understand you to assert that you believe you're the person to clean up the FDIC?
I do, Senator.
Do you also believe that Elvis is alive?
Not to my knowledge, Senator.
Do you also believe in Bigfoot?
No, sir.
Have you read this report?
Yes, sir.
You've been the chairman of the FDIC 10 of the last 13 years, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
And you've been there for 20 years almost, haven't you?
Nearly, yes, sir.
And this sleaze has been going on for decades, has it not?
I think the report makes that finding, Senator.
Did you read the part of the report where one of your supervisors described one of your young female employees as being, quote, like a grizzly bear with tits, close quote?
I've read the report, Senator.
Did you read the part of the report where one of your supervisors asked a young female employee, quote, does your husband eat you? Did you read that?
I have read the report, Senator.
Did you read the part of the report where one young employee said her supervisor sent her a text? You know what the text said? Quote, get naked, bitch. Did you read that?
Yes, sir.
Did you read the part of the report where one of your supervisors turned to one of your Hispanic employees and asked him to recite the Pledge of Allegiance to prove that he is an American? Did you read that?
I read it, sir.
You're not going to be able to clean up the FDIC because you're going to be too busy defending yourself in court. I'm going to introduce a bill to extend the statute of limitations to allow every employee at the FDIC to file suit over this sexual abuse and this sexual discrimination and this racism. And you're going to be spending all your time in court. Now, the Cleary Gottlieb report doesn't think you're the person to clean up the FDIC, does it?
I don't know that the report reaches that conclusion, but it certainly has critical comments in regard to me, Senator.
Well, I mean, the FDIC report says that it says that even your senior leaders feel, quote, disrespected, disparaged, and treated unfairly by you. Did I quote that correctly?
Yeah, I have read the report, Senator.
And the Cleary Gottlieb report, it goes on to say that your long tenure and reputation for losing your temper and bullying people, quote, presents unique challenges, close quote, for you to change the agency. Did you read that part?
I have read it, Senator.
And the Cleary Gottlieb report also says it questions whether you have the, quote, moral authority to do so. Is that correct?
I have read the report, Senator.
Yes. You fixing this agency, Mr. Gruenberg, is like asking Alec Baldwin to conduct a course in gun safety. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And Mr. Sue, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for acting like a lickspittle here today, trying to defend this gentleman. Have you ever read a worse report, Mr. Gruenberg, in all your years?
It's a bad report, Senator.
Yeah, it's bad. Look, I could go through this report. I'm embarrassed to have to even read some of these allegations. These folks on the first row behind you, are they FDIC employees?
Some of them are, Senator, yes.
Would you like to turn around and apologize to the female employees sitting behind you at the FDIC?
I have, Senator.
Would you like to do that now?
If you ask me to, I will.
I think you should.
I apologize.
And now I think you ought to resign. I'm done, Mr. Chairman.
The way Mr. Kennedy was like, you gotta apologize to the lady behind you. Like it was two kids. Like, and now you gotta apologize and make up for the little fight you had.
And now you got to say you forgive him. Have you guys ever been sexually discriminated against?
Discriminated or harassed?
Or harassed?
Yes.
1000%.
I mean,
When I
in
used to knock
stand up,
doors,
sure,
actually.
yeah.
It always
grab
happens.
my-
Yeah, in Olive
Grandma
Garden.
Vijay.
The managers were crazy there.
He
They
literally
grabbed
came
your
up-
vajay.
Yeah, he did. And I told Alex, and he didn't do shit about it.
Wait, what
Wait,
happened?
the worker or the
Yeah, the
customer?
worker.
Oh.
He did what?
We were knocking doors, and he came up to me and just grabbed me
By the...
by the. No,
Okay.
that's fucked up. No, he did though. I was like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like, no, it's fucked up.
Well, at the FDIC, apparently a lot of stuff had happened.
Maybe he should work there.
Who?
Whoever grabbed me. What about you? Have you?
Sexually harassed?
Mm-hmm.
I was sexually discriminated against once. And it's not like it was the worst thing in the world. I worked at Whataburger. And I went to
did?
No, you didn't.
I worked at Whataburger. Yeah.
Couldn't
Oh,
you
yeah, it
just
was my
picture
first
that
job.
though?
It was my first job. And I went to I was at one Whataburger and I wanted to move to another one that was closer to home. And my manager was like, "Are you sure you want to do that? It's only women there." I was like, "Oh, okay." Went there. They put me in the back to cook. The manager, there was no order, so I was standing back there and she came back there and she was like, "Why don't you do something? Like take out the trash." I was like, "Okay." And then one day I went up to her because I was always cooking. And I was like, "Well, I can I can do drive-through or register or something too." And she's like, "You're a man. You belong in the back." She told me that. And I was like, "Okay." I mean, this is a little bit different than having a professional job, where
I mean, was she wrong?
I stayed in the back. I did what I was told.
Good boy.
To this day, she still thinks you're in the back.
And he was right. I was the only guy that has ever worked at that store, apparently, for a long time. It held me back. I could have been an assistant manager, but
Probably saved you.
yeah.
Would have
But
worked at
I think,
Whataburger forever.
but that's probably the
Why-
worst thing that's ever happened.
Why Whataburger? Did you like it?
So when I lived in Texas, Whataburger was a friend of mine worked there, and he got me a job there. All three of you have been sexually harassed at work.
Huh. Why are we bringing
I
our
mean-
trauma back up?
It was just like Olive Garden, many male managers.
Oh, they would always slap my butt too. Did they do that to you?
No, they didn't. They would just flirt with me. They kept their distance from me because they knew.
They didn't touch you though?
They'd hug me and put their arm around me and stuff. But some of the girls, they were sleeping with them and they were being extra, but they were pretty tame with me because, I just give off that energy. Nice girl. Innocent.
Nice girl energy.
I've just seen more sexual harassment among my comedy community. I think it's just gotten think it's gotten better. I think more people are willing to call it out now. But back then, if you were being harassed or assaulted and you called it out, people wanted to 86 you because you were the problem. Like, I've seen that firsthand with a friend from years ago.
That's a fear, right? So if you call it out, then you're the one.
And
that
this
gets in
is
trouble.
like after Me Too, like 2020.
It's like, dude,
Like, this should have not been. And then I would hear horror stories of female comics that suddenly were like, I gotta quit comedy. I can't do this anymore because I got told if I want to go into this room, I have to suck some.
that's so fucked. That's some Diddy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's messed up.
Your
And these are
gender.
like broke ditties. These are not ditty ditty.
Yeah,
you know?
You say your gender. This is your gender.
And lately, like, the only harassment I've been hearing about,
He said I'm
there's a male
discriminating
there's a male booker.
Remember Whataburger?
Oh my god. The only harassment I've been hearing about is like a male booker has been trying to make me feel bad about him allegedly being sexually harassed by female comics and being like, well, I'm trying to make a safe review and they're harassing me. They think I'm just a piece of me. And I'm like, you once decided to dress like King Tut, though. With abs out. But not that it's right. It's just, I don't.
But it's not fair. Women sexually harassing men are way different than men sexually harassing women. 'Cause
Right.
a man can take a woman down. A woman's afraid. They
Right.
can't unless she's a big woman.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And most women
trans.
are not. They're not.
It's just
So you're saying it's okay?
not saying it's okay.
No.
It's just different. Like, things are
It's
not
different.
fair, and that needs to be like a thing that's brought back now because it's like, oh, men and women are equal, but we're not the same. So there's just like things that need to be talked about.